Hello, knife lovers. Welcome to Knife Delights, a place where friends can gather and discuss all things knives. This is the first video in a series of videos that I plan on producing covering my big brother's Boy Scout and Cub Scout knife collection. For this video today, we're looking at Camillus made knives, and I'm going to concentrate on just the Boy Scout knives and save the Cub Scout knives for another video. Before I get started here, I want to give credit to scoutknives.net. That's scoutknives.net. I got a lot of information on these Boy Scout knives off that website. They have a lot of great history there on these knives and great pictures, and they have, models in mint condition so you can really get good looks at them. I also want to thank Tobias Gibson. He reached out to me in a comment, and he reminded me that he'd done a whole series on Boy Scout and Cub Scout knives. I had watched them, I know, a year or two ago, but I've been going through them again. He has a wonderful presentation on these knives. What I intend to do here is not go too deep into the history, but I wanted to give you my initial impressions of these knives, and it's just fun to go through here. In getting started, again from scoutknives.net, they say that Boy Scout knives have been around almost as long as the BSA itself. The Boy Scouts of America was founded in 1910, and 1 year later, the first official BSA knife appeared on the landscape. Since that humble beginning, hundreds of different varieties of official BSA knives have been on the market. BSA knives have always been quality knives. Some were versions of regular production knives with the BSA shield added to the handle or the BSA etching added to the main blade. Some were designed specifically for the BSA. In all cases, they have been the highest caliber available for that style of knife. Up until 2007, all Boy Scout knives were made by well-known American companies such as Camillus, Schrade, Remington, Imperial, and Ulster. When Camillus closed its production line, the BSA followed a trend that had been developing for a few years and began having most of their knives made in China, in factories unknown to the Boy Scouts in America. These Chinese knives are merely marked China. Now, in addition to that, I know that Buck Knives has come out with officially licensed knives, and Baron Son produced them for a while. So I'm going to start with a knife that I identify as a Boy Scout knife. This is what I think of, and this is the four-bladed camp knife. And this is a model 1996. Now there's a lot of variations of the 1996, and the BSA kept assigning the same model number to many different knives. Camillus referred to this as the four-blade camp knife. The bolsters are nickel silver and smooth and unlined. The bail is permanently attached. It has the round shield with the BSA eagle and the fleur-de-lis. Now, I happened to look up that fleur-de-lis because I never knew what that stood for. So the fleur-de-lis is translated in English as flower of the lily. This symbol has been described by some as depicting a stylized lily or lotus flower, but other historians attribute its origin to a species of wild iris. The main blade is a spear point, and it's 2.5 inches long. It is stainless steel, and it is etched with official knife, Boy Scouts of America, and then with the symbol in the middle. It has a 3 3/4 inch closed length and an 8-inch open length. The bolsters are nickel silver, and they have brown jigged Delrin covers. So there's your main blade, your cap lifter. You always have to watch out for that bail. when you're closing that main blade. And you have your can opener. And your leather punch. Now, scoutknives.net did list some production data on this knife, and it says that the spear point blade was actually made by Ulster, and the short screwdriver and can opener were purchased from another source. The belt punch was made in-house, and all were made from 1095 steel. The handles were identified as Brown Stag BSA emblem Delrin, and the clevis was nickel-plated. So yeah, you can find a description of this as being bone, but it's not bone or stag. It is jigged Delrin. The 2007 suggested retail price for this was $41.75, and it was produced from 1985 to 2007. And if you look at the tang stamp on this, this is the last version of Camillus tang stamp. And this tang stamp was used from '89 until its bankruptcy in 2007. While I have this out, I just want to point out there's lots of unofficial camp knives out there. This happens to be a Cutmaster. It's not marked anywhere with any kind of a shield or anything, but you can see them, with a shield that says camp knife or camp or just scout on there. It's the same knife, it's just not officially licensed. Okay, now we're going to move on to the 3-blade whittler. And I did not know that this was an official BSA knife. I had never seen them. Again, I always thought of the camp knife as being the official knife. But we have three of the whittlers here. And the common features are a long clip point blade with a long match strike pull. And you can see the Camillus tang stamp there. It also has a coping blade. Again, there's a difference between a coping blade and a sheep's foot. A sheep's foot is more rounded. This is straighter and more at an angle. And then it has a second clip point, a smaller one, as its third blade. They all have nickel silver bolsters, and again, they're unlined. They're smooth bolsters. And they have 2 back springs with brass liners. And these are swelled. You see that in the handle there. So as you can see here, this one has a different color of covers on it. I believe it's Delrin, just black, and it is jigged. But one difference here is this one has the first class badge on it, where the others have the eagle and the fleur de lis. This knife was produced from 1947 to 1969, and the tang stamp on this one is the Camillus stamp used from 1960 to the late 1970s. And yes, there's still a little bit of oil and such on these knives. I've been working on them, cleaning them up, oiling them, getting the snap back to them. And I'm getting there. So the last 2 knives that we're going to look at, they're pretty much identical. It has the round shield. Both have the round shield with the fleur de lis. And it's amazing how this almost looks like it's peeling off, not just worn. But 2 knives, pretty much of the same age, same cover material, and yet you can see how they wore differently. difference in color. So both of these knives with the brown Delrin, they have the same tang stamp, and this stamp was used from 1960 to the late 1970s, and I may have said that already. No, that was for the previous knife. But this particular model was produced from 1985 to 2007. And in 1998, the suggested retail price was $27.95. Well, this is pretty amazing. I mean, I have just barely scratched the surface, and I can see I'm past 10 and a half minutes already on this video. So I'm going to close this out, and again, I'm going to be producing more videos on my brother's Boy Scout and Cub Scout collection. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please leave a comment below and hit that like button, and we will see you in the next video. And until next time, have a delightful time collecting your knives.